today I'm going to be telling you all about Disney Professional Internships. As many of you know, this coming June, I will be a Disney University Leadership Programs intern in Orlando, Florida. So what I want to do is share my experience with you all about the application process and interviewing and everything that goes into applying for a Disney Professional Internship, and also give you some tips so maybe you too can land at Disney Professional Internships. Let's get right into the video! So before we begin, I first want to clarify a few things. One of the things is the difference between the Disney College Program and the Disney Professional Internships. The Disney College Program has only specific roles like merchandise, like I did, or attractions, or quick service food and beverage, or custodial, versus the Disney Professional Internships have tons and tons of roles you could possibly do, and it's in many different facets of the company. Some of the examples that fall under Disney Professional Internships would be engineering, animal program, marketing, being a manager, developing content. There are so many things you could do with professional internships, and because of that, every application is a little bit different, which I'm going to warn you that my experience is very unique to what I applied for. I applied for mostly alumni-only internships, so that means that you had to have done the Disney College Program to have applied for these internships. Not all of them. You have to do the Disney College Program to apply. And I also applied for some social media ones. Now keep in mind that this is a very long process. I applied for most of them in January. I got offered interviews February through the beginning of March, and I didn't find out that I got a position until the end of March. So this is a lot of waiting. A lot of people ask, how many internships is it appropriate to apply for? There is no magic number, as some people may say, as to how many internships you apply for. I applied for 9. That just so happens to be what I applied for. I know people who applied for 5. I know people who applied for 15. What is most important is that you apply for positions that you are qualified for. Because recruiters can see all the internships you applied for, you don't want to apply to most random internships. Say you have a degree in marketing and you applied for animal programs at Animal Kingdom. That's just not gonna work. That's gonna say to recruiters that you just want to get back in the company and that you don't really care what you do, and that's not a really good reflection on you to the recruiters. So to find out what you're qualified for, do your research. First thing you're gonna do for research, obviously, is look at that role. Click on that job description on DisneyCareers.com and start looking at what that role is all about. Another way of research is to Google search your role. Not all roles are going to show up on Google search, but some of the more popular roles, such as animal programs or guest relations, sometimes people write blogs about it. Even if you're not planning on applying for Disney Professional Internship right now, or you're not even planning in the next few months or the next few years, you can still start researching for Disney Professional Internships. About a year before I knew I was going to apply for Disney Professional Internships, I went on DisneyCareers.com and I took screenshots of all the roles I was interested in that was posted, because I knew they'd be posted again a year later when I was ready to apply. So I saved those screenshots, I studied those job descriptions, and I thought to myself, okay, this is what I really am interested in doing. How can I better my skills? How can I get more experience so I'm a better fit for these roles? One of the biggest tips, if not the biggest tip I can give you when it comes to Disney Professional Internships is networking. I think one of the many reasons that I did well in so many of my interviews is because I did so many meet and greets. I had 11 meet and greets with managers and leaders, and I met with 9 professional interns. Because I did a lot of networking, I knew a lot about the roles I was applying for, and the people interviewing me knew my name and they knew what my skills were. If you want me to do a whole video about networking, especially networking when it comes to the Disney College Program or networking in Disney, let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see that, because I did a lot of networking. All right, next thing I want to talk about is applications. What you're going to want to do is making an account. You have the choice to make an account that is linked to your LinkedIn profile or just an email and password that you create. In my opinion, is to connect it to your LinkedIn profile, because it gives them another resource to get to know you more. And what I mean is not just to have a LinkedIn account, but really build a LinkedIn profile. Put your experience on there, whether it be work experience, volunteer experience, your school experience. All All right, let's go into my tips for building the perfect resume for our Disney Professional Internships. Now, realize that every resume should be different for every single role you apply for. Most importantly, tailor your resume to the job description. And what I mean is make sure the keywords that you see in the job description for the role are in your resume. This is highly, highly important because the first thing your application is going to do is going to pass through a computer. And this computer is going to go through your resume and cover letters and check for keywords. And if your resume or cover letter does not have a lot of the keywords that are also in the job description, you're automatically going to be out of the running. Another tip is if you have done the Disney College program, make your Disney College program one section on your resume. And what I mean by that is not just put where you worked, but put everything else you did on the Disney College program. Because as many of you know, Disney College program is all about the live, learn, and earn aspects. So make sure that you express that you did the live, learn, and earn aspects of the Disney College program. Not only put what your job was, put if you took some classes, if you took a seminar, if you went to an alumni speaker series, if you did some workshops, put that in there. If you picked up shifts, put that in there to show that you have knowledge about the entire resort, whether Walt Disney World Resort or Disneyland Resort. Another big thing is to keep your resume to one page. I was watching the Disney Recruiter Roundtable, which was an interview with Disney recruiters that was available to Disney College Program alumni. And they said that recruiters normally look at resumes for a total of 7 seconds. That's not a lot of time. So you want to give them an easy way to look at your application by only giving them one page to look at. Because if they're only looking at your letter for 7 seconds, they're not really gonna feel like flipping the page. The next thing I wanna talk about is cover letters. Always do a cover letter. Even if it doesn't seem like it's necessary, it shows that you are serious about this application. What I found, this is a great tip from my friend Ashley, aka To Dashers. If you wanna look at her, by the way, if you wanna look at her Disney PI video, I'll put the link down below. But she said to always address your cover letter as Dear Disney Recruiter, because your application is gonna get passed through many hands. So you don't really wanna say, Dear this certain person, because so many people can be looking at your application. You want to keep it general. Who do you address it to? Another great thing to include in your cover letter is networking. If you talk to somebody who's had this role before, if you know somebody who's worked in this department before when you networked, say it in your cover letter. Tell them that you are familiar with the role, because that definitely sets you apart from other people who have never heard of this role before and they thought, oh, this is something I should apply for. Now, another thing I want to talk about in the application process is portfolios. Some positions require you to include a portfolio. For example, graphic design. But a lot of positions have a place in your application as an optional choice to include a portfolio. It is not necessary or required to create a portfolio, but it definitely gives you a hand up. And what do I mean by a portfolio? So I mean making a website about your experience and everything you've done. So what I did is I made a website on Wix, W-I-X. It's free. I made a website all about me. It's like a digital resume, but an expanded version. So on this digital resume, I put my resume on there, but I also shared certain things that I couldn't have shared in my resume. So I had a whole entire link to my photography, a link to my YouTube channel, a link to some projects I did, a link to some of my schoolwork, a link to my writing samples. And then what I did is that link to my website, I put on the top of my resume and my cover letter. So you know how on the top of your resume and cover letter you put your name, your address, your phone number. Also put the link to your portfolio. You've applied, you put on your resume, you put on your cover letter, you've even added a portfolio. Now what? You look at your dashboard. The dashboard, just like the Disney College program, is a place where they give you the status of your application. So once you apply, it will say submission. Unlike the Disney College program, submission is a good thing. That means that your application has been submitted. The status on your dashboard you really want to be excited about is in progress. In progress means that there is a Disney recruiter looking at your application. So if it is in progress and if it stays in progress, that might mean you're getting an offer for a phone screening interview. So to know that you got offered a phone interview, you have to check your inbox of your email, and you'll get an email asking you to set up a phone screening interview. This phone interview is very general. You're only talking with one Disney recruiter, and it's very general questions. It's just going over your resume, over your experience, asking you very basic questions, not exactly role specific. This phone screening interview can be for multiple positions. So it could be for just one position, or it could be a phone screening interview for multiple positions. Contrary to popular belief, you can have more than one phone screening interview. I know some people say that they only had one phone screening interview. I had 3. After you're done with the phone screening interview, they'll let you know when they'll be contacting you to let you know if you made it to the next round. Now, the second round interview is going to be questions that are more specific to your role. So every interview for your second interview is going to be different. I had very different second interviews. Some of them were just on the phone with one person. Some of them were on a phone on a conference call with multiple people. Some of them were over Skype with multiple people. Some of them were over a video calling service that Disney has. They'll give you information about it with one person. One of them was a video call with multiple people through Disney's video call service. Now for video interviews, always make sure that you are dressed in Disney look. If you don't know what Disney look, if you're not sure, you can look up Disney look on the Disney site. Another thing is to pay attention to the background behind you. Make sure there's nothing distracting. Make sure you're not sitting on your bed. Don't have anything inappropriate hanging up on your wall. Make sure your background is Disney friendly. And the way they contact you to offer the second interview is different on department as well. Some of them, I directly got an email from the department to my personal email asking me to schedule an interview. Other times, they'd call me and it would not be at a scheduled time. I had no idea they were calling me. Because they might call you to offer you an interview, do set up a professional voicemail. So after you're done with your interview, you need to send a thank you note. If you have their email, whether it be the recruiter or the department who emailed you about the interview, email them back a thank you letter. Another tip is if you don't have their email, what I would do is I would actually send them thank you messages on LinkedIn. Now on LinkedIn, you can't send messages to people who you are not connected with. In order to do that, you have to have LinkedIn Premium. Because LinkedIn Premium is $30 a month, what I did is I just tried out the trial period. They allow you during the trial to send messages to people you're not connected with. So I used that trial to send thank you messages through LinkedIn to people that interviewed me who I didn't have their email. Now, how you know you got the professional internship is they will call you. It will be a Disney recruiter on the phone and they will call you. It will be not a scheduled call. And then your dashboard will change to something along the lines of accepted offer or offer stage. And it is an incredible feeling to get a professional internship. Oh, I can't explain it. It is just a dream come true. It really is. All right, so that wraps up my Disney Professional Internship video. Let me know if you have any questions. Comment down below anything you're wondering about applications, resumes, interviewing, networking. If you want me to do a networking video, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Remember that I am on Twitter, I have a Facebook page, and Instagram, all at Olaf and Olivia, one word. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification button, and I will see you in my next video. See ya!